Hello guys, welcome to Geek Society. I'm Nona Prince, joined by Manoj, Nolan the Batman, and Harneet, and our special guest today, Keshav. And he's a big Batman fan, as you can see behind him. Just cracking the joke again. That's the only reason he's here. But do check out Keshav, guys. He's a music composer as well as a YouTuber. You can check out his channel, All Things Cinema Vodcast. I have put the link in the description, so you can check it out there. But today we are talking about the Dark Knight trilogy. By the way, all of you can say hi to the chat.
We waved.
Okay.
No, no one could see your hand. It's blurred with the thing.
Okay. He's so
But we can
fast,
still
right?
see
He's a
some
flash.
motion.
He's
Flash,
a flash.
yeah. Oh, this is actually
Okay, not a great start to the stream, guys. But anyways, we are talking about the Dark Knight trilogy today. The Road to Batman. We were supposed to do it last week and 2 weeks before that also. But that didn't happen. But we are doing it. Road to Batman. Within 8 hours, I'll be watching the Batman. So very, very small road. But we are doing it regardless. And we'll be talking about... Yeah. Batman, of course. I cannot stop you from saying anything.
I thought he was going to say within 8 hours we're going to finish the stream.
I don't think. Okay, it's like it's a film total 8 hours.
yeah, it'll be close to 8 hours. 2.5 each movie.
Yeah, 7.5 hours.
7.5.
Okay,
I think Dark Knight Rises is slightly more longer.
including the
Might
credits.
be. Yeah, and even Batman Begins in Dark Knight.
Anyways,
Anyway, it's very pointless. Very pointless discussions.
Welcome, Shrikesh. Welcome. I like movies, and yeah, where was I? Yes, we'll be talking about all the 3 films, and we'll be talking about which is the favorite one among the 3. So one by one, if we can go to each one. Let's start with the Batman himself.
Yeah, my favorite is The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay,
I know this is
okay.
very controversial
That'll
because
be...
everyone likes The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's me.
Mhm.
Me, I'm everyone.
You're very mainstream, man. You're very mainstream.
Dude, Dark Knight.
So,
changed my
why
life,
do you like
so-
Dark Knight Rises? Okay, Christian Bale has longer hair in that. Is that the reason why you like Dark Knight?
Inside joke from a previous stream.
That was an inside joke.
But what about you, Keshav?
Yeah, to be honest, I was quite late to the party. I hadn't seen any of the 3 films when they came in the theaters. I saw even Batman Begins for the first time in a flight from Delhi to Chennai in 2015. So I was quite late, and I think it was quite fool of me to having missed on something so incredible. Probably the best trilogy in the history, and I was blown away. I mean, the moment I reached home, so I finished Batman Begins in the flight, and the moment I got home, it was already late at night, and I ended up watching all the 3 together later at home. And for me, I think as a whole, because I watched all 3 in a row, so I look at them as a trilogy without having any bias towards anything. But just because the legendary Heath Ledger, if at all I have to pick, I will pick the middle one. But for me, it's like it's a whole thing. Like Wasipur is a whole 5-hour thing. So
Yeah.
for me, just because my experience of watching it together.
All right, Harneet.
Harneet has been silent from the start. Is he still there?
Nona forgot to introduce him also at the start. So
No, I said Harneet.
Did
Hello.
you?
Yeah. I think he has a connection issue, maybe.
I think it's muted.
Oh, he's unmuted.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I'm here.
You can
Yes,
repeat
you're
it.
right. I have.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
repeat your question.
Achha, so my favorite would be again. I am according to Nolan, if it's mainstream still, then Dark Knight would be my favorite of the 3.
Okay.
These reasons, like because of the legendary character Heath Ledger and the Joker character in that movie, and the story of the movie itself. So yeah, that would be my favorite out of the blue, out of the box. Like that's the favorite movie in the whole trilogy. Even I would say in the favorite Batman movie for me, including the animated movies and all that. I'm
Oh,
hoping that to change tomorrow or whenever I watch them.
That's good. Manoj?
Okay, so this is very hard for me to answer because these three movies are like, many people growing up, the Star Wars original trilogy is like their main. It's like that's like defined their childhood. For me, these three movies in a way define my childhood. Like I always say, this was my Star Wars in many ways. Obviously, not many people will get that, but I think it started all with Batman Begins, and I feel like Dark Knight is the best film out of the trilogy. And for me, in many ways, it's probably one of the best films I ever watched because it changed the way how I look at films. I was just 10 years old when I watched it, but still I was like, dude, this just blew my mind. Like I never thought movies could be something like this. But my favorite would still be Batman Begins. And it's just because of that nostalgic factor, because that's the one movie that I've watched so many times as a kid. And that's the one movie is always in my head.
Why do we
like
fall?
Dialogues, why do we fall, or it's not who I am underneath, it's what I do that defines me. Like all of that, it's so ingrained in my mind that I always had to pick that as my favorite, even though I think Dark Knight is definitely a superior film to Batman Begins, but my favorite would be Batman Begins.
You are the dire hero. I live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
We just lost the two people who were actually in the stream. So
Yeah.
All right. So I think for me, like, so
You already
okay,
said
honest time, honest time. So I first saw The Dark Knight. Then I found out, oh, there's a sequel, Dark Knight Rises. And then years later, I found out, oh, there's a first movie also to this, which is Batman
look at
Begins.
Nolan. Look at Nolan.
And also, I don't remember Dark Knight, but Dark Knight Rises definitely I watched on like a cam version. And I kid you not, in
Dude,
the ending,
dude,
right?
that
In the ending, when the reveal happens that Batman is still alive, then just before that scene, someone got up and everyone started clapping. I'm like, okay, movie ended. When I saw that movie again, I understood, oh my god, Batman is alive at the end.
No, but so did you see Michael Caine looking at someone in the restaurant and then someone stood up?
No,
Because
we reached that point where he's
how it was
having the
written.
tea, right? We
Yeah,
reached that point where we're having the tea, and the guy stood up. And then suddenly the whole theater is shouting, oh, because the reveal happens.
No, that's so funny because I think Michael Caine said in an interview that he would have ended the movie there. Like Michael Caine looks at something and then it cuts. Leaving
And
it
he
open-ended.
smiles, and
Yeah,
then he cuts.
leaving it
Yeah.
open-ended. So you saw that ending.
Whoa.
Oh.
And at that time, I had no idea who the hell is Nolan. I had no idea. But then when I watched, like after that, I have seen the whole trilogy again and again. And I think for me, Dark Knight is not just a Batman movie, not just a comic book movie. It's an amazing movie altogether.
Amazing movie, yeah.
And I just, that movie blew my mind. I think that's, I would say, one of the films that, took my mind to that direction of filmmaking. It just, okay, we'll get into the details and everything. But yeah, so those were all of our picks. In the chat, let us know what are your picks. And Sai Ganeshan says, I just watched the Batman last night here in US. No spoilers here for the Batman. I think Batman Begins is underrated. Ritik says the 25%. How do you like the Batman Begins? Oh, okay. Batman Begins only has 20% votes. Okay. Scarecrow was good in Arkham Asylum, but in the film, nothing was there. We'll come to that. Nolan's crying right now because of you, Nona. Which Nolan?
No, so Iron
Nolan,
Man,
the
Iron
Batman
Man
or
1
Christopher
is
Nolan? What?
No, Iron Man 1 is a continuation from Dark Knight Rises, right?
What did he just say?
So Iron Man 1 is a continuation from Dark Knight Rises, right?
Hey, stop quoting Nona, man.
What code? Nona? Anyways, so let's begin with.
Keshav was like, what is happening?
He's
No,
lost.
I was first struggling to find the link on YouTube. I went to Nona's channel. I couldn't find it. And then I had to do a thorough research on, Nona ko maine search kiya, and then I put the filters mein live and all. Then I somehow found it. So I was busy doing that.
You should have just asked, man. This live is very unprofessional.
I had no idea you were having a second channel and you were streaming on it.
So you can
Wow.
subscribe.
Do
I
that.
just did.
We
Just
need
did.
that.
And I even shared it on my own channel.
Ritvik has shared Dark Knight is 9.7. Dark Knight Rises is 10.3 and Batman Begins is 6.5. I think you're talking about IMDb, which we don't care about here, but anyways. So let's talk about Batman Begins. And Manoj is his favorite, right? So go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me what you didn't like in that movie.
I think what I didn't like.
Yeah, because I think everyone
Okay,
knows what they
what
like. So.
I still, yeah, what I didn't like even now is that one scene where he escapes from the Ras Al Ghul's temple. Like that scene where he they tell him to murder execute someone who, and that scene never sits right with me because I feel like there was always a disconnect between how it was written and how it was shown. Because you literally see ninjas like the house is exploding and the ninjas are literally like throwing off the room, like everywhere they're just flying. So I feel like what they did was see the ninjas could get out of that thing. It was like slowly burning, but they chose to fight Bruce Wayne. Like at least that's the intent. But when the way it's shot is like an action-packed scene where all the ninjas are just like, okay, they a lot of them do come back in the end. So it's implied that they didn't die, but the way how it's shot just it always irks me a little bit. I'm always like, like, come on. Really, but I think that's the only thing that I
that scene something, the fact that he trained there for like a long time and he didn't know what he was supposed to do in the end of the training. Like, did he not know what he was training for? Training to be an assassin. And when he gets trained, he's asked to kill a person and he said no. And just bluntly says no. There is no dilemma in his mind and all that.
Yeah.
No. So what is the whole training about? Like, what do you think is gonna happen at the end of your training? You're gonna kill people. You are an assassin.
I'm guessing.
No, we have to remember it's not called League of Assassins here. It's called League of
that's
Shadows.
what. Yeah,
So
that's
they purposely changed the whole point of that. They were supposed to, like, it was never clear. They were supposed to be protectors of the world, people who would fight for justice. So Bruce sort of saw it in that way and sort of entered. But then towards in the final test, he was supposed to execute a person and actually be that assassin kind of person. But even then, in the movie, it's not ever said assassin. They're sort of like protectors of this world, or people with a higher calling. I guess that's how they show the League of Shadows. So that's okay with me. It's just the way how that scene is shot that I'm a little bit, like I always feel like if I speak to Nolan, not this Nolan, the filmmaker, I'm asking about that scene because the way it's shot, it literally feels like ninjas are just getting killed. Like they're like literally like there's a scene where they are running away and quickly a wall just bursts and they just. I'm like shit, they just died. Like you didn't want to kill one person, and they never showed the prisoner. Like he was like tied in his arms and everything. He definitely would have died in the fire. Like who would have helped him?
What did you make of Neeson there?
Actually, I know people they whitewash the role, but I actually really enjoyed the sort of way, like especially how he brought that element of Batman, like the theatrics and stuff like that. The way how he like they had him say such cool dialogues and really shaped him being this really important mentor to Batman's life. So I actually really enjoyed his performance. What Liam Neeson did with the role.
Talking about Liam Neeson, I saw him in what is that famous movie?
Oh,
Taken.
I thought you were going to say like I saw him in the
right?
cafe. Like
So after Taken, like every time I see him, like I know this guy from somewhere, and later I realized, oh my god, this is the guy in Batman Begins. So I think he really like his role is very different there, and he really stands out as that character, and not Liam Neeson.
that's why they casted him. Like they wanted a big star, and they didn't want people to think that he's a villain. Like when he comes in third act, that's why they.
Liam Neeson is kind of like Akshay Kumar of Hollywood, because here Akshay Kumar has found a formula of hit films. There, if you see, Liam Neeson has a lot of very similar sort of films, and then suddenly he does something like Batman Begins. Like how they roped in Akshay for Atrangi Race, or something different. So
yeah,
and Akshay Kumar was in Robo too, right? So
whoa.
Oh, Judwa 2, Judwa 3.
What happened? Which one is the real one? Chat on that. Like, share, subscribe.
Find out.
Okay. We found it. Odd one out. This was weird. Okay, going back to the chat.
Mirrorverse. Watch the reactions of the next week.
Yeah, talking about the chat, why there's no hype of okay, first of all, Ritwik, the rating he gave was not IMDb, it was his own personal. And also I
That's
think
what I said. It's
yesterday
personal
only
rating.
he sent on the group, on the Discord channel also, that he found Robert Downey Jr. or his lookalike in Dark Knight. There's a scene in the crowd, he spotted him, and the time is 1:54:09. So if you want to see Robert Downey Jr. in Dark Knight, you can see there. Anyways. Okay, why there's no hype for Batman in India? Chandan Sahu asked.
Because the trailers were shit. Because the trailers were shit.
No.
But he
I mean,
said
I only watched the
particularly in
first one,
India,
so-
like.
I think Indians don't really have that much of connection with Robert Pattinson in that way. Like he's not that huge a star. Probably that's also one of the reasons.
It's still
Yeah.
developing, you could say. Maybe the sequel might get more.
Or maybe people still think of, when they think of him, they still think of Twilight. So they need
I don't
to
think
come out of that.
people
first.
in India have seen Twilight, man. Like except from us, like people
Ah,
like who have seen, like I've seen
I've
it in
not seen
theater, so that's saying something.
Like I said, mainstream.
I mean, just look at this. Nona saw
Hey, no, don't go
Twilight
there.
in theater.
Don't go there.
He saw Twilight in theater, but he saw Batman on a DVD
go
rip
there.
format.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Okay, but okay, before the stream, we was just checking. Do you remember when Batman Begins came out?
2005.
Yeah, dude, it's
Six,
17
six.
years.
2006.
On Google, it says 5. So Google is always right.
It's, no, 2006. So after Batman Begins, he took a year and made Prestige. Then he returned to Dark Knight, 2008.
Wow.
Okay.
At that time, I couldn't even imagine going to a theater to watch a film alone, like just for like. So I totally, that's the reason I didn't
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
in
that's
theaters. Okay, Keshav,
The-
don't
I was just 7
put me
years
under the
old.
rock.
Like the first 3 times I watched Batman Begins, I was so young that I was completely confused because the timeline wasn't linear. I was like, what's happening? Oh, I was so confused. First 3 times.
Understood.
Like for the first starting half of the movie, I didn't
Yeah,
know,
it's non-linear
like,
storytelling.
my dad got me the DVD of Batman Begins, right? So I'm like, ooh, Batman movie. I play it, like, where's Batman? Where's Batman?
You guys are making me feel old that, I was 7 and I was that when the first one came. 13 or something when the first one came.
Yeah, but it still makes no difference.
That's
You're
quite.
still sitting here talking about.
You were 13 in
Yeah,
2005.
There's age bar for being a part of Indian Geek Society,
You were 13 in 2005.
Nona is like taking a calculator and being like, okay,
So that means you are 30 now. Really?
you don't have to say it out loud.
No, I'm like,
you-
I'm shocked right now because I always imagine him being like 24, 25.
I'll
They-
take
they-
That's a compliment, actually.
Yeah.
That's your age, Nona.
Yeah, that's why.
You're also 24. Like you have to introspect that you are also growing with time. It's not you are not 12.
Wait, Nona, you are 24. I always thought of you as 30, my age.
Now I don't know how to take that as a compliment or not.
You can take that also as a compliment. Like, that means you're a mature person.
Okay.
Think
Dude, you are a very
Others
good
might not
diplomat.
agree.
You know that, right? Okay. The beginning prison scene was really good in Begins. I actually love the whole beginning portion of the film. I think for me, where it goes down is when he becomes the Batman.
weak in
Yeah.
terms of the action, but we had to understand, like, this was like the movie before this was Batman and Robin, the Batman movie. Like, we had never seen like a serious, like, climatic battle in the end between Batman, like in this level.
I was telling Nuna about this, like the joke, like that Batman Begins was the first Batman movie I watched, right? And then Batman Returns and Batman and Robin, and I watched them thinking that they were sequels. I'm like, and I was like, how did this technology drop? And what happened to the car?
That's
So, I mean,
actually
like,
funny.
we have to think about those things. You know, Batman Begins in many ways just reinvented superhero movies, and even in general. A lot of the movies have the ticking bomb ending. like in that it was a train heading
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think it reinvented and stuff like so. I know the third act is a little weaker, but I still enjoy it. And dude, that background score is amazing. Like
It
throughout.
influenced
It was
so
not
many,
handsome,
right?
huh? True.
Because of the background score, the second one is a bit more personal to me because I'm so influenced by Hans Zimmer's music. It shows in my work as well, and so Batman, the second one, I think that he did alone, and the third one he did with James Newton Howard, if I'm wrong. So
No, I think the first one Hans Zimmer wasn't involved. It was James Newton Howard. Second one, both of them did together, and Dark Knight Rises, Hans Zimmer
third he
it
did
together.
alone, right?
Yeah, alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So the best was like the Joker theme was just one note, so the way they have created this whole thing, Joker theme was one note, and then the Batman theme was just two notes. Ba, ba. So the new one has a very different look and feel to it, the new theme, but that one will always stay legendary no matter what.
True.
Man, a lot of chats coming in. Guys, do hit the like button, subscribe for more. The only major weakness in Trilogy is the Nolan really messed up in shooting the fight scenes properly. It was not shaky camera, it was too many cuts.
Oh yeah, and the in Dark Knight. That guy just
He just placed the
guy
camera.
just
So what happened
the
is,
guy just fell down on his own.
so what happened is, Batman Begins and Dark Knight, people are like, you're cutting too much of the action because Nolan is someone who believes in the impact. Like he doesn't care how good the action looks. He like if you look at Batman Begins, there's a fight in the docks where he's just showing what the reaction is because he's just going for that impact. But in Dark Knight Rises, because of the criticism, he was like, okay, I'm just going to place a camera here. The problem was that then you had like stunt people like just falling, like missing the cue and just falling. You have many scenes like that. Right? You look in the background and someone is just falling automatically without even getting it. So yeah, that's definitely. I think he has improved his. If you look at movies like Inception and all, the way Nolan shot action is much better. Right? Even Tenet. But in the Batman movies, it did leave a little.
But I think that action and this action is very different, right?
Also, no. One thing is that the mobility of the suit also wasn't very good. Like it was not like he could all like it was much better than the previous suits, but still it was not that mobile. Like if you compare it with Batman BVS's suit, which was much more like agile and everything. So yeah, I mean that could also be a factor on why the action scenes weren't as good.
I think there is a pretty good comment. It says Batman Begins came 1 year after Spider-Man 2, so the difference in the filmmaking was so drastic.
Yeah.
That's true. And how many people the film inspired, right? The whole Arrow was inspired from the Batman show, right? Batman movies. Even Man of Steel was inspired from that success.
Oh yeah. Like David S. Goyer wrote Man of Steel, right? He was a writer of Batman Begins also. So
let's not go more than that. Let's stop there. Let's not go
but
into DC.
like it's not just DC though. Like a lot of the Marvel stuff was like if you see
Iron Man and Dark Knight came on the same year. It just blows my mind,
But Iron Man also said that, like Jon Favreau also said that Batman Begins was one of his inspirations.
And I think, if I'm not wrong, The Dark Knight Rises and Amazing Spider-Man 1 came the same year as well.
I think 2012, right?
Yeah.
And Amazing Spider-Man 1's ending is exactly like Batman Begins. Like there's a ticking bomb. It's like a lizard thing. In that it's a train. Like you can see similarities of where the inspirations come from in all these.
Okay, let's not even go there. But anyways, Tanmay Gupta in the chat. I'm vengeance.
I am the. I am Batman.
Okay, I cannot say the name. Neither I can read what
By the
they
way,
meant.
How disappointed were you guys when they replaced Rachel in the second and third movie?
I never noticed because I watched the Dark Knight first.
It did like it's that one thing which in this franchise where it's like everyone else like returned and everything, but this is the only like actress or only character that had to get recast in the second movie. So
but I felt
that's
like
always a one.
Like she was a younger
Improved?
Rachel, and then she's like,
way too old, right? The difference in the age was so drastic.
I think it's Maggie
I didn't
Gyllenhaal,
mind.
right? Maggie. I actually thought I liked her performance though.
I didn't even notice.
I mean, I like Katie Holmes in Batman Begins for what she did, but I thought Maggie
She's a
Gyllenhaal
great
brought
actress,
something
man.
different.
She brought so much to that actor.
How come, Nona, you didn't notice? You have such a keen eye for looking at people and gauging the age of.
See, that time I was young, when I was watching these movies. I hadn't developed this skill.
See, and that was, it had to be through a webcam. Then he would have understood.
maybe he was so young and naive. He thought कि वो सच में बड़ी हो गई है second part तक.
No, I thought she became smaller, younger. Because I was later, na? I was Batman Begins last.
So you thought like she entered the Lazarus pit and came out.
So kind of like the curious case of Rachel.
By the way,
It's okay. It's okay. We will get 8 packs and we'll like shave the head.
What
roam
was
around
the
as Gajini.
for?
I just lost that. Okay.
We'll roam around as Gajini, man.
I think maybe he was about to talk about Superman versus Batman, Ben Affleck.
No, I was never
we
gonna
don't-
talk
we
about
don't-
that, and
we
we'll
don't
never
talk about that. It's sensitive.
That's why he stopped. No, he just realized, okay, I can't talk about that.
Arey, what we were talking about right
Gajini,
now?
Gajini. He'll get some tattoos and all, and then Nona, when he forgets, he'll be like
League of Shadows.
shadows.
Yeah, that I still don't understand what happened there when the guy, right, the monk guy who was supposed to be Ra's al Ghul, he dies there, and then later he shows
Yeah.
up. So what was the logic behind
No, he
that?
doesn't show up later.
No, he shows up
he's
at the
dead.
party, right?
No, that's a different guy. That's not the same guy.
What?
Ra's al Ghul is always Liam Neeson. He was hiding in the shadows. He was hiding his identity.
Oh, okay.
So that was just
that was
a fake.
obvious, yeah. I thought that
so that
guy
was just a fake-
survived.
No, that's a different guy. I know what you're talking about. Similar bald guy is there who looks at him. Yeah, that's not the same
Okay.
actor.
Moving on.
It's-
This is where Warner Brothers
It's
deserves.
Sato, right? Inception Sato. He's the same. That's the same actor who plays Ra's al Ghul, I think.
No idea. This is where Warner Brothers deserves some credit. At least they always try to reinvent and allow their property to be handled by author directors. They had Nolan after Insomnia and now Matt Reeves.
And Batman Begins didn't even do that well in box office. Like, it did okay. But the fact that they still put full faith in him and even increase the budget for The Dark Knight is actually...
Dark Knight got an Oscar. It's
You
unlike
Yeah,
think
but
it probably
Go.
had something to do with Prestige, probably?
Prestige also was not a box office hit. It just made like 100 million, something like that. But
No,
it was
in
critically
terms of-
acclaimed. It was
In terms
critically
of,
acclaimed.
in terms of filmmaking wise, like even if they had a bit of doubt after Batman Begins, probably Prestige would have restored that faith.
Probably. I actually saw Prestige much later. When I was like going back and watching his movies, that's when I found Prestige. And I was like, oh, he made this in the middle of Begins and Dark.
Yeah, even me. I think I watched Interstellar the last. And Tenet is the only Nolan movie I've seen in theaters. But I've seen
Oh.
Twilight.
You didn't see Dunkirk.
Dunkirk I didn't see in theaters. when was
Oh,
Dunkirk
dude,
out?
that's a good theater
I
experience.
think it was during my 11th or 12th. maybe.
2017.
Yeah, so no,
2017.
not. So yeah, I was in college. I should have. Anyways,
Tenet, you didn't see Dunkirk.
wait, I think I've seen Dunkirk in theaters. I think I've
Tenet to
seen
the
Oh,
Cube.
wait.
Tenet, yes. Tenet
Wait,
as well.
Dunkirk, I remember going to theater and there was no one and they didn't play the show. They were like, we need 10 people. And 8 people came.
Wow.
I'm like, what nonsense?
Dude, I watched one film alone. Twice.
Recently, I think you watched.
Arey,
when I saw you tweet it.
Bhimla Nayak I saw alone. There's no one.
Into the Spider-Verse, I saw alone. I think there were like one other person somewhere.
Dunkirk, I'll always remember because that was the first film I saw in IMAX.
Oh, nice.
I think mine was Doctor Strange. First time.
Mine will be the Batman
Whoa.
on Saturday.
Amazing. But dude, the best IMAX in India is in Vadala, Mumbai. It is like the original IMAX. You know, the whole screen and the seating arrangement. It's amazing. I saw both the Infinity War and Endgame there. Okay, Saigon Nation who has
Did you see
seen
Twilight also there?
Saigon Nation who has seen the Batman says the Batman is in my top 3 of Batman movies. Tanmay says Watchmen. Okay, you guys watch the Batman? No, none of us have seen it. And like I have to say, Keshav got a chance to watch the film today, like tonight, special screening, and he skipped that just for this stream.
Actually, it's not special screening, right? Even in Bangalore, it's out today.
No, it is called early screenings, right? Like early preview
You're
screening.
taking away from the point, Nolan.
Like he skipped the Batman movie just to be on this stream. How foolish can he be? Now he knows.
Or how loyal I can be for the commitment.
That's true. That's true. But this is a Indian Geek Society. This loyalty doesn't matter. Your fandom matters more. I would have skipped my own stream if the Batman was playing right now.
No, there is another reason as well. The tickets available was only front row, so I said, okay, I'll go.
That makes sense.
That's smart.
I actually saw one movie like that front row because I thought it's the first day, first show kind of thing, but not a great experience.
Was that Twilight?
Okay, moving on. Both Rachels have the pros and cons for me, but in totality, they were both the same level personality. Personally, sorry, same level personally.
There again, when the Dark Knight came out, right? And I saw Rachel, I'm like, is that MJ? They look the same, man.
Nolan is like, I saw that movie and then I saw this movie and I didn't.
Yeah, but dude, I was so confused when I was a kid.
Oh my god. But you know, talking about Rachel, right?
Gotham should not have so much face. He'll catch someone else and he'll be like, I saw you, you only robbed the bank.
Okay, talking about Rachel, I really like the ending of Batman Begins, when Rachel comes there and you feel like, oh, hero and the heroine, they'll come together, but no, it doesn't happen like that.
I mean, they kiss, so
Like this, your mark.
Okay.
They kiss and then she friend zones him. So it was like, okay.
And if I'm not wrong, if you guys have seen The Office, I think Batman Begins came around the first season of Office when Amy Adams was there in that.
Amy Adams, yeah, she was Jim's girlfriend, right? Like,
Yeah.
For the first season, yeah.
I haven't seen Office, so yeah. So Scarecrow in Arkham Asylum, if you haven't played, it was my favorite villain. But in Batman Begins, there was no impact.
Oh, dude,
of,
Arkham Asylum, dude.
Cillian Murphy's
The Scarecrow levels were like trippy, man. Like the entire game world used to like completely change, and then it'll go to a side story, but like it was really trippy. It was really fun. Arkham Asylum. That was really cool.
I guess Christopher Nolan was trying to keep the movie more realistic.
Grounded.
That's why he completely excluded the immortality part being about the
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus pit. Like he just like said there are different forms of immortality and all.
But what do you think about that villain, Scarecrow, in the
No,
movie?
I think Scarecrow, the way how they implemented Scarecrow, I think if you think about it in that kind of world, that was the only way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think they did something, they did, and see, this was a kids movie also. So they pushed it to the, like kids means like PG-13, I think. I'm not sure, but they pushed it to the extreme of how much they could go with, showing the horror. And that one scene where Batman's mask turns.
Yeah, it's a
that was actually practical. That was actually practical.
I heard that.
Like with some CG, I'm like, dude, that is insane. Like, so I mean, I think they pushed it. They were creative with some of the effects.
That's right. That's another thing about Christopher Nolan, right? Like he tries to avoid CGI as much as he can. He literally had a Batmobile built in Dark Knight to blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's making
and they built it in his garage,
right? Atomic bomb.
Yeah.
So he's gonna blow up so. No, I don't know if he'll survive to watch it.
I think with this Russia-Ukraine war, he's rehearsing for the film.
Dark jokes. Okay, Okay, anything else about the Scarecrow? I find it okay. Like the actor is so talented, right? Like now he's so famous after Peaky Blinders, and he's also starring in that film with Nolan.
Yeah.
Not this Nolan.
I think Cillian Murphy also gave the audition for the
Batman
lead role as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. No, I think he was still like I actually love Christian Bale, but considering Cillian Murphy is such a talented actor, I think even he would have done a decent job. as Batman. But dude, that one scene where Batman is attacking the dogs and all the guards are like looking up, and then they're telling Scarecrow, like, the things we have heard of him, like he can fly, and then Cillian Murphy is just like, yeah, let's see what happens. Like, I love the way he does that.
That's another thing. He's like the only guy, like villain, who's there in all 3 movies, right?
Yeah. That's true.
I like his one-liners when he's like, "That's the Batman." That's more like him or something like that.
I think I read somewhere it was after American Psycho that Nolan saw this guy's Christian Bale's performance in that, and then he approached him for the lead role in Batman Begins.
When is the Batman review coming, guys? Sunday, probably Sunday we'll do a live stream again. Talking about IMAX is not real IMAX. No, dude, that's the closest you'll get to a real IMAX in India. So Vadala is the closest you'll get. It was at Prasad Cinema. Okay. Devas Baju is here. Big fan of Manoj. So thank you.
He's my roommate.
Tanmay says my show timing for the Batman is tomorrow at 6:10 p.m. Fingers crossed. Dude, just one request. Don't shout. Bring back Snyder Cut. Or Big Back Snyderverse.
Oh, I'm wearing my Zack Snyder hoodie and going.
Why is Manoj... Okay, Shrikesh says, why is Manoj obsessed with Twilight? Answer him. Answer right now.
It's just that the way how Nona brought it up. And I'm just so intrigued. So I just want to know wherever he watched Twilight. Like, did he watch it in IMAX? Now he was even mentioning that.
Moving on, Saganison says no spoilers, but the Batman is my opinion. The Batman has, in my opinion, the best Batmobile scene ever.
Oh, it looked really good in the trailer.
Yeah, so I think Saganison, no more tidbits from the movie. What if Heath Ledger played Batman?
He was also very
They would have killed him before the movie comes out. He already died in the movie. Okay. I meant like the fans, like they were already so pissed, like how can you play Joker?
No, I think Batman they would have been more receptive. Like,
dude, you know what happened to Ben Affleck, right?
No, Ben Affleck, it was like because people didn't.
Ben Affleck, they messed up even the suit, man. The suit was not a good suit. The suit design.
The BVS one.
Yeah.
I like the
grey one. I like that. Man. I like the contrasty one more instead of just the whole.
The only critic I have is that it's a bit too bulky.
Exactly.
That's the only critic. But I love the design, like how it looks.
Ben Affleck is in fact not that fat. It made him look fat.
They made him look more like a bodybuilder, wrestler kind of a thing. But I didn't mind that.
Tanmay is like, I'm going to wear my hoodie and I'll shout.
Hey, me and Tanmay, I won't shout. Okay, no.
I hope we get to see warehouse-like fights in the Batman. I think we saw one of them.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
What is this VORRED? Like, I don't get this.
What?
Is it a bat symbol?
I mean, you can only describe it to us. None of us are looking at it.
What if Ben Affleck played Iron Man?
That's basically BVS. No, I think, actors, even whoever is put in the role, they'll bring their own spin, and I think they'll still be good.
I feel.
But will it be as good as RDJ?
No.
Probably not.
Michael Caine is the best Alfred. What about Alfred? Let's talk about him.
Oh man, Michael Caine.
Yeah.
He made me cry in the
like
I think the second last one or second last.
I think he's also
it's the last one.
regular. Yeah. He's also a regular in Nolan movies.
Nolan repeats his cast a lot. Yeah.
He was there in Prestige as well.
He was in Inception movies. Also. He was in
except the
Interstellar also.
Except the following, I think, and Insomniac. Maybe?
That time he couldn't afford it.
Yeah. I think Nolan sees him,
and I think
as
it is in Tenet also is there, and I think it is Sir Michael Caine.
He's there in Tenet.
Yeah, he's in Tenet. Small role.
Yeah, voice, just voice.
No, it's a role. Like he goes, meets him for a 2 minutes role, and he tells him to.
Tenet. Yeah. I mean, Dunkirk was a voiceover role. I think one movie was a voiceover role. I forgot. Okay. Anyways, I mean, he brought a lot of that was a very different Alfred that we saw. Like he was not just the person to just serve Bruce Wayne's needs. It was not that. He had his own personality. He had his own attitude. He was almost like a parental figure in his life. Like the way, like in Batman Begins, you have that one scene where he asks Bruce about like crashing all those police cars like in the chase.
Yeah.
He says that what are you doing? And even in Dark Knight Rises, that interaction between them, like
Some people
where
just want to watch the world burn.
that's in Dark Knight, and in Dark Knight Rises also when he just urges him to quit. I mean, I thought those were like wonderful scenes, and I think Michael Caine he brought something very different to the role. And I feel like we've not had even one bad Alfred casting. Like even in Batman and Robin, the Alfred is actually pretty good. So that's one where we have done pretty well, and I'm pretty sure the new one also will be amazing. Andy Serkis.
Do you think this is like a one-off standalone film coming, or they'll also have some sequel?
No, sequel is already announced. It'll come in the next 5 years.
No.
No.
The director just now
WB's
said that
produced-
he didn't make this movie thinking he'll make a sequel. So it's
Yeah,
like
but
then
WB's
even if it-
producers said-
No, the thing is,
Didn't Matt Reeves also say that he doesn't want to work with Robert Pattinson again?
no, that's
something like
bullshit.
they will.
No, what
There's
I'm,
this rumor, Matt Reeves.
he's actually he wants to make a Batverse. So there's already
Yeah,
a
yeah,
spin-off
that's-
going on about this
Yeah,
show.
the God.
So it
About this
won't be a
movie.
standalone, right?
Yeah.
It won't be a standalone. That was the question.
Yeah. Okay. Michael Caine wasn't only a butler; he was like a father. I literally cried when he
Yeah.
nods to Bruce Wayne in the climax of Dark Knight Rises.
True.
Tom Hardy as Bane
I
was
see.
okay. We'll go to Tom Hardy later. I know Nolan would be here. Varun says. What do you think of Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox? I loved him.
Oh,
He was-
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
I love that character.
So good. Like I love that in Batman Begins, all of the interactions he has with Lucius Fox, like all his sarcastic wit comments, and he keeps asking for different requirements, like and he keeps saying different like fake alibis for each
And,
this.
I just realized how these characters play Alfred, Morgan, not Morgan Freeman, but
That's an
Lucius Fox, and even Rachel in that sense. How they play like a moral compass for Batman. Like
True.
if any of them is not there, he will take some steps which are not good, and that actually the Trinity actually helps him a lot becoming a Batman. It's not just him; it's more people around him. So I think that's interesting.
That's probably what happened in BVS, why he went to the dark side. But I think the cast of this is like amazing. Like I think so many Oscar winners, so many like talented actors in one cast. It's because I think Christopher Nolan even said this. Like he took inspiration from the Superman movie where they surrounded Christopher Reeve, who was like an unknown actor, with a lot of talented like big weight Hollywood actors. Like whether the actor playing Jor-El or anyone like that. So he used the same logic here as well. He surrounded Christian Bale with some really terrific actors. So I think that's really cool what he did.
Okay.
And Nona is on mute. Awkward silence. in the
Hello.
stream.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah. So. what
I
are you
think
talking
that we should especially mention the dialogues in the second one, because so many of one-liners of Jokers are so legendary. Why so
True,
serious,
true.
and we are tonight's entertainment and all those things. So whomsoever did the dialogues,
True.
he deserves special credit, especially the second one.
Actually, Why So Serious is actually from the Batman Beyond TV show.
Okay.
Like in that Joker Thug says the same. But obviously, it was much more popular when Heath Ledger.
I
said it,
think
but-
we can now start talking about The Dark Knight, my favorite film.
Oh,
It's just insane. Like so many dialogues, so many character moments. And again, I love the narrative of the screenplay structure of Nolan. Like, it doesn't keep it very linear. Constantly, you're jumping forward.
yeah.
He creates tension.
But I have only one issue with the Dark Knight movie, is the starting. Like basically, there's like a very small time gap between the first movie and the second movie, right?
Yeah,
Like a
1
few
year
months.
gap.
No, not even 1 year, less than a year.
Okay, before that, what do you guys thought of that ending in Batman Begins, where they show a Joker card?
That was great.
But
man.
I
That
think
was
all
like
of
the.
us, all of us saw that when we know Dark Knight is available to us, right? No one saw it like
No,
in
I
theater or
s-
something, and
No,
he had to wait.
I saw it. I saw it before Dark Knight came out.
Same.
Oh.
So when that's what happened. I saw that scene, and then I started searching for sequels, and then I ended up watching Batman Returns and all, and I'm like, where's Joker?
Oh man.
I did see it, but thankfully I didn't go hunting for the sequel. I was aware that it didn't come out yet, but I did see Batman Begins before, not in theaters. Like it was in VCD. Remember that old?
I got it in. I got it in DVD.
So I watched it and I saw the last card, but I mean I was still a kid, right? So I didn't have that excitement. Like it's not like an MCU movie now when they show something you're like, oh, what? Like if like now when I see something like that, I'll know. But as a kid, I didn't really make much connection that time. when I
Yeah.
saw it. But looking at it now, it's actually a really cool send off.
Yeah.
It's like a post-credit scene without being a post-credit scene, but it actually functions well as an end to the movie. I think that was done
I think
really
it's
well.
like Joker. I think in Nolan's mind, it'll be like, okay, I'm going to do Joker next movie. So just let me tease to the fans, everyone and the
Actually,
fans
he
will
was not
understand
even
what's that.
sure. He was not even sure if he would able to. He would.
No,
be
but
able to
at
do
least
it.
a tease, right? Like
Yeah,
for
just
the
a
fans
tease.
to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
happy
Yeah.
or sad, whatever. Everyone's saying it's planned to be a trilogy, the Batman, and they are all signed for 3 movies contract. Matt Reeves' philosophy was that to make one complete movie first and then try to build upon that in the next one of the first one is a hit. If the first one is a hit.
Same. Christian Nolan also had the same logic.
Yeah. So yeah, Nolan, you were saying about the editing.
The first, yeah, you were talking about the starting.
Basically, the time gaps don't sit right with me because basically it's just a 1 year time gap between after Batman Begins and The Dark Knight,
Dark Knight.
and everyone's already so terrified of Batman. Everyone's gone into hiding. Like Batman's already become a legend in just 1 year, and then
Dude, he's a hardworking person.
Not only that, he destroyed the entire train, right? That will create an impact. Like,
it's an entire city, and everyone's scared of just one man in just 1 year. And then after that, after Dark Knight, Batman goes into hiding for 8 years. So basically, he was active for just 3 years. And then in Dark Knight Returns, in Dark Knight Rises, he's such a big phenomenon. Like children are like, was he ever real? Is he a myth? Children are drawing Batman logos everywhere and all. Like he became some big legend in just 3 years. Like that timeline never sat well with me.
I
can see what
years, right? It was
Nolan is
6 or
saying.
8 years, something like that.
What?
In
No, he
Dark
was in
Knight
3 years in
Rises-
operation.
8
3 years
years
in
later.
operation. He only
Yeah.
operated for 3 years in Gotham City. It was like
Yeah.
spaced out.
And 8 years later, he was like he's treated as such a big phenomenon.
I
can
feel the
understand-
difference between Batman Begins and Dark Knight has to be like 2 to 3 years.
No, 1 year. 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like that, but it's actually only 1 year.
1
They
year.
really build up that like Wayne Manor in a year.
It's very efficient workers.
And they
No, but no,
one-
it's not complete. It's not complete. That's why
Yeah,
he
that's
uses
why-
the other
That's
thing.
why he's living in the city, no?
That
okay.
he has another thing, right? Like
Okay.
other say. But I'll just say, I think I can see what Nolan is saying. I agree to it to a certain extent. But I think what Gotham, the normal of Gotham was corruption. Like it was like sure that this is how the city was going for many years. Then suddenly you have one person come and change ways, and people are like, we no longer can Calmon Falcone was literally like arrested, and no one even thought things like this could happen, and he just brought that up. So when
I
something big and disruptive comes on, that will create a huge impact, even if it's just for a short period of time.
I
So
think
that
it's also that, right? Like we see the film and we see, oh, Batman is everywhere. But for the people of Gotham, they don't get the pictures of videos of him, right? They just
Well,
heard
like-
news or in the news or
Yeah,
there's some
that's
bad
what-
thing or something
like
going on.
people- Yeah, exactly.
So
So like
there can be people who feel like, oh, he's a myth.
half of the thing about Batman is that like most people don't believe that he's real. But what I'm saying is that myth thing never happened. He directly became a legend. Like everyone was like,
No. In Dark Knight Rises, people are still like. There's a scene where I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt he uses the bat signal to put directions, and then the other person even tells him have faith in something real, don't have faith in something real. Like he even says that. So they do lean on the myth side of things also.
yeah.
I mean, I do understand what Nolan is saying to a certain extent, but for me, it never really detracted from the movie experience. Because I could still see what they're trying to do in the movie.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, but I just feel between the first and the second movie, it should have had a bigger time gap.
Maybe they could have a 2-year gap, or they could have matched the release dates, 3 years, 2005,
Yeah.
2008.
Saganison, great question. I also wanted to talk about that discussion about the way Nolan built Gotham City, the impact on Gotham City as a character. I feel I didn't find Gotham City that interesting in first movie, whereas the second movie is all about Gotham. It's literally
Yeah.
like even if Batman defeats Joker, people of Gotham has to save Gotham. You know, I think that aspect of it just blows my mind off. You know, it's all about.
I think visually, I love the way how Batman Begins shows Gotham. Like from a visual standpoint, like they show a lot
Which is
of
very much
poverty, they
inspired from
show
Tim
shadows.
Burton's one because you know
Yeah,
when I watched Tim Burton movies again, like recently, I like, oh my god, so much, like Nolan took so much inspiration from these films.
true.
Whereas the next two
But
films was
I
basically
think
Chicago.
like the overall atmosphere, like of that Batman Begins Gotham City, it's just like different. Like in Gotham, like because it was in the Narrows, it was set in the Narrows, it was set in that one area of Gotham which was not very much developed, you could say. So from a visual standpoint, I love that. But I think Dark Knight, it brought the people of Gotham to the front. Like
Yeah.
that, especially that boat scene. Like, you know,
Yeah.
City is not just, you know, it's not just stylistic things, right, in the city. It's the
You
people
know,
that's more important.
since we are on the Indian Geek Society channel, so I thought of something geeky. That's why I was a bit quiet for the last couple of minutes. So, if I can show you, can you see my computer screen?
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
make it bigger for the.
That's what she said. Okay, so if you if you if you see here, do you see the name Batman Crystals, Batcave Crystals?
Yeah. I can see it.
So this is my software on which I make music, and Hans Zimmer had actually released like this sound library where he had put a lot of libraries from the Batman soundtracks for people to use it. So let me
Is it
just
copyright free?
yeah I've used it many times. So if
And,
let me just
I don't think anyone cares even if it gets.
so just now what I'll just play one note, okay, and it'll exactly be that Batman theme.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Don't stop.
So this was something I wanted to show because this has other very famous stuff as well. Like, you know, do you see this one? Bane Shatter. So from the whole Dark Knight series, you know, whatever they synthesized from the scratch, like they make their own sounds, right?
That's really
Do
cool.
you see this? Batman Begins comb.
Oh.
If you remember, this one also comes in the first scene of Dark Knight when he's about to rob the bank.
Oh, yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was just a bit of geeky stuff that I wanted to launch.
Dude, that was really cool.
Thank you. So Nona, thank you so much for having me on.
It was
I'll
great.
like to take your leave right now. I'm very, very hungry. I didn't have lunch today, so I was busy with something.
No worries, dude. No worries.
But really enjoyable. I hope you'll call me back when you do the review of Batman because
Always.
we
No
both
worries,
would have
man.
seen by Sunday.
Can you play us the Batman theme during that stream?
Sure. Acha,
During-
then.
Yeah, for that stream when we do the review.
Sure.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
Done. All
We'll
right,
start
thank
with
you. Nice meeting you, Manoj, Nolan, and
Yeah.
Everyone, check out Keshav's channel.
The link
Go
is in
Yes,
the
please.
description, guys.
please check out All Things Cinema, which is my cinema-based channel, something what Nona does as well. And my main channel is on my name, Keshavuria, which is like where I put my original music. And my new song is coming next week, so this is not a bad time to plug that as well. So see you very soon.
Do check it out, guys. And thank you, Keshav, for joining.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Okay.
Derpy Gaming is like, I've seen the film. Don't spoil it. Discussion about the way Nolan. Okay. Derpy Gaming has seen the film. So I'm like, don't spoil it.
Okay. I thought he said, I've seen the film, don't spoil it.
Yeah, so we were talking about Gotham, right? How Gotham was built.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nolan, yeah, so what are your thoughts?
I had to charge my laptop. It was in the last. I didn't even realize it was not charging. I think I already spoke, right, like how in Batman Begins it was more about the. It was a little one-dimensional. Like you could see because people are going in that corrupt ways, and then you had someone like Gordon to like sort of see like what else can be done differently. So but in Dark Knight it went a bit more like multi-dimensional, where that scene between the two boats, like people are like debating on what needs to be done, and that Crystal just takes. He's like, I'll give me the detonator. I'll do what you should have done in the start, and he takes it, but then to everyone's
Even-
surprise, he throws it away.
Like
and
that,
for me,
that's like the climactic thing of it.
yeah, that is the climatic
But
thing. But for me, the people, I was trying to say the people of Gotham, because if you look at Dark Knight, it shows Gotham as a very metropolitan city. It's like very developed because it's not really focused on the narrows. So for me, the identity or the sort of identity of the city comes actually from the people. The way they react. For me, that's how Dark Knight sort of dived more into Gotham City. And then
I'm saying that moment is like the climactic thing, right? Right?
Yeah,
I love it is how it is set up throughout the film, like and Joker plays a lot of a big role, right? How Rachel got to that place, and how there were some police officers he corrupted. Then when the Joker made a video that killed that guy, otherwise I'll destroy the city or something, and everyone was after them. That like how the people of Gotham were reacting to everything Joker was doing.
True, and how they went from that to being ready to give their lives for the other boat.
Yeah. So it's like an awesome like
it's an arc
progression
for
of
them.
character for the city. It's done really well. No one really talks about that.
Yeah.
Like when because a lot of people say it's great movies, great stories, and then people say the fight scenes were so terrible. But all of this actually makes the movie really good. Like, so that was actually done.
And I feel like
But I have a question. Did you
guys
actually think Rachel would die in Dark Knight? Like when it was building up to that?
No. I thought.
Of
course, I think you're also playing where we don't know who's going where.
Yeah.
Like even with the dialogues, I didn't understand what did Batman say while coming out.
The Joker tricked them.
He gave opposite addresses.
Yeah, Batman said he's going for Rachel, and then you all go for Dan. But
I thought like he knows he gave his wrong address, and he chose to do the opposite.
No. He would never leave Rachel.
At that moment, he was emotional, dude. Like he wasn't thinking as Batman; he was thinking as Bruce.
And that scene, dude, in the interrogation room, the iconic.
Oh my god! Like, don't hit me in the head. Don't hit the victim in the head first. Like, the victim gets all fuzzy, dude. The dialogue delivery, and
oh my god,
the interaction is insane, man. You were like, oh, so good. Like
you can.
I'm looking
there's so much
forward
to talk
to
about
the Batman
Heath Ledger, but everyone has talked about it. It's not like we'll do something new. So it was amazing, and everything he did in that movie, the way he depicted it, he was the soul of the film basically. If you say Batman was the body and soul, and Gotham was the mind. So in that aspect, I think the film was and even the criticism, like I feel like people don't understand what he was trying to show. Everyone's like, oh, as a superhero movie, it didn't do this, it became boring, it stretches a lot. And I like how the film begins with when he gets that guy from China. Batman gets from China. So it's like you're building up Batman. Oh, he's the like the champion of the people. And from here you're slowly Joker is creeping out, and then he just brings Batman down to the bottom. And I think honestly my favorite part in the movie has to be, everything is amazing, all this is hitting me. The best part is the ending, when he brings back that dialogue, when he takes it like you either die or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
So,
that whole thing coming back full circle. Oh my god, dude!
For me, like Dark Knight is like a perfect movie.
Yeah,
like I know people say it has flaws, but I'm like, for me, it's like perfect. Like it can do no wrong. Like, see, that's what like people will say, like, oh, how much good is Robert Pattinson's Batman going to be? Like, is it better, or Ben Affleck's Batman movie? Is it going to be better than this? For me, like all of those movies would probably be great. It would probably be good. It'll be wonderful. It'll be epic. But the impact that this Dark Knight trilogy has, especially Dark Knight, like, that'll never like go away.
I think the films have that mark of Nolan.
It has a quality, to it, like, which is just, it's so good, so good. I'm literally like my face is like so excited.
You know
like,
that moment where he turns his like Two-Face's face to the other side and like
Oh.
he is the hero Gotham needs, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Like, oh shit, dude, this is so deep. This is like the biggest sacrifice, you know,
Yeah,
as a hero you could do. Like
And
one
even
thing is like
the-
dying, you know, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like an easy thing to do. It's not as
yeah,
easy,
yeah.
but like comparatively to be the villain so that things are better in society. That's like the biggest sacrifice as a hero, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Even like for me as a 10-year-old watching this, like that ending scene, right, where they cut all the scenes together, they have this voiceover
Like montage, yeah.
coming in montage, and he's like, it's because sometimes the truth is not good enough. Sometimes,
Yeah,
and for me, I was like, as a 10, I wasn't even understanding what was happening, but I'm like, this is like, I'm feeling things, like, you know, it's giving me chills. I'm like so invested in the ending, and then you have like Batman just going, and then Gordon says a dark night, and you know, the cape is all flowing down, and then it just cuts,
Yeah.
and then the title comes. I'm like, dude, this is perfect. Like, I've not seen anything that will that excitement as a kid that I had. Nothing has
I feel like
matched
watching the
that.
film again now. Oh.
It was so good.
That's
So
why I
good.
watch the film once every 2 or 3 years. watch
Even
all
I
three.
do, man. Like the trilogy for me.
I recently
for me-
actually saw show the whole trilogy to my father, and I think he also
Oh,
loved
okay.
the Dark Knight. Like,
it's so good.
It's
man.
like,
So
oh
good.
my god. But you know, one criticism is
Like,
that
and it's like it's not even a. It's not like it's a great Batman movie.
it's a great
Even
film.
it's a great movie. Like you take away that, it's still a great crime thriller. It's still a great movie about a city. Like it's
A
amazing.
guy who
It's
just
so
wears
good.
costume like this. You don't have to know who the Batman is,
Nothing.
what the mythology about Batman. Nothing.
Nothing.
It's a
You know,
great
just-
film in itself.
It's so good. Like I'm sometimes surprised that David S. Goyer wrote it. Like because like I feel like not taking anything away from what anything else that he wrote. Like I enjoy Man of Steel. I have enjoyed some of his other books, like even Dark Knight Rises and stuff like that. But like this was like perfection, man. Like story, like it was like you hit the nail so well in this. Like so
Saganison says thoughts on Bale's voice. Was it really necessary, and why didn't Nolan slide adjust it in later movies?
So in Batman Begins, the voice wasn't so bad. Like the voice was
No,
just, it was
but in Batman Begins, it actually had an impact. Like you remember the part where where Rachel asks him, "No one will ever know who at least tell me let me know who you are."
yeah.
And then he turns around and then he uses Bruce Wayne's voice. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It
that's
made
true.
such a big difference over there.
True. No. I was trying to say that the voice, like the growlingness that people now associate this character with, it was not as much in Batman Begins if you watch it. In Dark Knight, it went to a whole different level. And also the funny thing is like in scenes between Morgan Freeman and Lucius Fox, he's still in the Batman voice. So people are like, why? What's the point? But you know, like some people said that he was just when he puts on the mask, he's like all in. That's who he is. With the voice.
When he puts on the mask, he's himself.
Yeah, like
yeah, pretty much.
Like they actually made it look like he was training himself to use Bruce Wayne's voice when he said, "It's not who I am underneath."
Yeah. True.
He looked like he was training. He looked that it looked like as if that was the fake voice.
True. I didn't mind it, man. For me, it's all part of the movie. Like,
Devas is like Manoj laugh all over my room.
yeah.
Okay. But like I was gonna say something. Come on, Batman's voice. What you were talking about just now? Batman's voice and
We don't know Batman's voice. Like the comment said about Batman's voice. So we just
what you were talking about just now.
We just said that like when he wears a mask, he is
Mask.
that voice, like,
So there's a scene right in I think it's the third movie, and I think it's time to go to the third movie. I think we're done with Dark Knight. Amazing.
are we?
Yeah,
Like,
not, but we have to move
Dude,
on.
Harvey Dent. Dude, what an amazing portrayal by Aaron.
I think that's a
Eckhart.
character who doesn't get a lot of limelight.
He doesn't,
because
but
of-
it's like perfect. It's so well written throughout. Like
that
Two-Face.
flip right that happens to him. It makes sense. Like he's the guy is fighting so much, to save the city, and the people around him only betrayed him.
True.
Like why would he even trust anyone?
It's like such a lad character, and we have to talk about that VFX that they to bring it to life, like the half.
Oh, man,
so well
that
done,
looked
like
so-
2008, so many years before they managed that. 2017, they couldn't even get a mustache thing right. Like it just shows that level of filmmaking and level of effort.
I think Corridor Digital broke down that scene, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, my dad makes Tanmay says my dad makes fun of me whenever I talk about Batman and all. He's like, "Rehta kahan hai?" I said Gotham. He said, "Which state?" Stagnation. I felt like Batman gets overshadowed in some parts of the trilogy, like how Michael Keaton used to complain about being secondary to the villains in his films. Okay,
But that
did he say
happens,
that?
right? I don't know if Michael Keaton said that, but that happens. But see, many people say Dark Knight is like, it's because of the Joker. But I absolutely love Batman's whole character, like arc and whatever he
It's
goes
like
through.
it's easy.
It's very
Just take out
impactful, like-
Batman. Does it make sense? No.
It doesn't make sense.
Joker exists for the Batman,
Yeah, true. And I just want to say, I'm just like rambling. That one scene where, when Batman is going to give away his identity, and then him and Michael Caine, like Alfred, they're just walking out. Like they destroyed everything, and they're just walking out. And then Alfred is like, I guess they'll put me in jail also, being an accomplice. And then Bruce Wayne is like, accomplice? I'm going to say the whole thing was your idea. Like it was like those are like jokes. It was not forced humor,
Even
It
the
felt
first
natural
movie,
to the
right?
story.
Where before, when at the end in the party they show up, right? The league, and he tells take Rachel home. And when he's trying to put her in the cab, and someone's like looking at him like, "What are you doing?"
Even Gordon driving the Batmobile. He like drives past the commissioner. Commissioner's like, and he's like, "Oh shit." So good. I like the humor in the Dark Knight. It's like it's never off-putting. It's like right amounts of humor.
Sagarison says it's not perfect Batman character movie, but it's a perfect movie as a whole. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes. Don't worry. Batman voice. Well, I love Affleck's voice modulator. Okay. It was okay. It was like too much. Like, of course, he's using a voice modulator. It was like too much.
It's very hard to find. I'm curious. Like Robert Pattinson, in the trailer, I think we heard, but in the movie now, I want to experience that. Like, I think other than Kevin Conroy, who voiced Batman, I don't think anyone has really and some of the other voice actors.
Yeah, but in Kevin Conroy's case, both Bruce Wayne and Batman sounded exactly the same. There was no voice change.
No, but I feel like that was more of a commanding thing when he talks as Batman. Bruce Wayne is a little bit more, hunky dory type. His voice, I kind of like that difference.
Oh my god, dude! Tomorrow I'm watching Batman. Yes, I'm so excited. I don't know why. Out of nowhere, but yeah.
Because we talked so much about we just rediscovered our magic of the Batman movie. So we're like, yes.
But another thing I wanted to talk about in the Dark Knight was that was the first live action movie where Batman had his white eyes.
In the last scene.
That was my favorite scene. I'm like,
true.
Cartoon Batman.
But I like the fact that they used it in that way, not always.
I always wondered why they can't do that in live action.
The emotions...
Spider-Man has the white eyes. Why can't Batman have the white eyes? I always used to think that.
No, I think some I've heard some filmmakers. I don't know if it's Christopher Nolan exactly. The emotions of the character, your eyes can communicate so much. So that gets lost. Already he's wearing a mask, and a lot of the Spider-Man movies, if you see in the end, his mask is off. They'll find some way to get his mask off so that the emotions are shown. So I think with Batman, his mask is usually not off. I don't think in any of the trilogy movies in the end his mask was off.
No.
I think his eyes.
Right, where he's holding his cowl.
No, I mean in the climax, in the end battle.
Not outside, of course.
Yeah. In the end battle, they always had the mask and everything. So I think that's the main reason.
Forget about eyes. Talk about how the cowl comes out off and the black eye paint suddenly disappears. Lol.
In the Batman, they put the black eye paint, right? It's part of the whole thing. That's cool.
But okay, let's come to Rises. Nolan, what you didn't like about Rises?
The fans actually voiced it. I don't know how true this is, but Hans Zimmer put out a link saying inviting fans to voice something, and he used all of that voices for that cheering.
You know what I recently got to know? The Helm's battle, Helm's Deep, scene in Lord of the Rings, the famous battle. All the noise and all. Where was it recorded? In a cricket stadium.
Oh.
So in New Zealand, it was a special match, I guess, and a lot of people had come, and he just went onto the pitch and he's like, "Everyone, do this," and they recorded that sound and they used it in the film.
A good thing India was not playing, or something else would have come in the stomach.
So Rises, what do you think? What didn't work?
Nolan.
What didn't work?
What did
Robin.
not work?
Robin.
Oh.
I
But
love that part.
we never
honestly.
said one thing. We never said what didn't work in Dark Knight. Is there anything that you think didn't work?
No,
I
that's a
said,
perfect
right,
film.
the time gap.
Time gap, we covered. Okay,
Yeah.
one thing. Yeah. Okay. No, go ahead. Dark Knight Rises, yeah. The Robin thing.
Robin thing, right? Like his name wasn't Richard Grayson, his name was Blake, and then they were like his legal name is Robin. That was
Yeah,
like
that was
such a weird on the nose thing.
that was more of a nod
To the fans, yeah.
to the casual audiences who doesn't know like who is Dick Grayson, who's Richard Grayson, or they could have just named him Richard Grayson and they could have like fans would have understood, okay, he's going to be the next Batman. But I guess casual audiences won't know who Grayson is, so they just want that kind of nod to be there. But they maybe they could have called him Richard Grayson and then they could have had Robin be some other hint, like maybe there could have been a reference to him being a circus artist or something like that. I don't know.
Like he did get that bag, right? So in that they could have
Yeah,
opened
yeah.
it and they could have had like
Maybe
the
his
poster of the flying
yeah,
Grayson.
true. Acrobat suit was called Robin. Like maybe
Yeah.
something like that. They could have maybe just noted
Yeah,
it. But that was a small thing. Yeah, that was a small thing.
But come to Rises, okay, some chat is
we were
here.
talking about Rises.
Forgot about eyes, yeah. Oh, that was shit.
What happened?
Okay. Deshi Basara. I don't know what that. What would the third movie had been if Heath Ledger was still alive? I think Nolan said that he had plans for the Joker and he like Batman will
That,
goes to Arkham Asylum and talk to him.
The
or something.
Scarecrow role in Dark Knight Rises was supposed to be Heath Ledger, is what I've heard. That judge role was supposed to be the Joker.
That would
So
have
that's
been
one
insane.
part. That would have been cool.
That would be very weird. Like, because the Joker was all about chaos, but Crane was like to antagonize them. So like that felt like a thing that
But
Scarecrow would come up
I
with.
read it somewhere, or I don't know if I think it was part of some making process that this was there. So I think that was it. But yeah, definitely Joker would have been part of it. The fact that he was alive in the end, like they didn't like kill off the character off, I think definitely meant that they were going to use him. And I think the sequel would have come a lot faster if he was actually alive.
When will we get Robin back in live action? Hopefully, Pattinson's universe brings him back.
No, but
I
Pattinson's
don't
universe
think so.
is
He's too young,
too
right?
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just starting out as Batman, right?
No, in
But
the
I
sequels,
I
it
feel
could.
like I don't think Robin can work on in live action.
I
At least
think
in
it
movies.
can.
At least in movies.
Nah,
It
There's a
can.
whole
do it
point
as-
of having getting a kid to be a sidekick and go on danger missions makes no sense. At least in
It
live action
doesn't.
format. At least in live action.
They pulled it off in Titans, right? They
That's
pulled
a
it off
show,
in
right?
Titans.
In a show you can pull it off. But in a
I
movie
don't
it's
think
very
they pulled it
difficult.
off.
Like and Titan sucks, so you know.
Yeah, I don't think
Hey.
they pulled it off in Titans, but I think it can work. I think it can actually work.
I don't know.
I don't think you
I
can
don't feel
have see technically even someone wearing a bad costume, if you just think about it, doesn't
But you
really,
feel like, right? That's a
the-
crazy guy. But to have a guy in like a yellow
I think
I feel
it can work.
I feel Nightwing will work better.
Nightwing can also work better, but I think there is scope for Robin to work, but it needs a very talented filmmaker to actually bring that. Because just a run-of-the-mill filmmaker can't do it.
That was the whole problem with the MCU, right? That's the reason why all the X-Men had black suits. But then when they actually did the MCU, they gave everyone colorful suits. Like even the Hawkeye suit, they said it wouldn't work, but then they did it in Hawkeye.
Yeah, the colorfuls. But it depends on the world, right? The groundedness of the world and
Yeah.
everything. But I think maybe not going very young, like a 15 or 16-year-old who's maybe he's not just immediately going as sidekick. Maybe he's like helping in the Batcave. Maybe he's
That's why I'm saying
understanding
it's
everything.
difficult to put it on live action, right?
No, but I think an adopted son is actually a very important part of Batman's arc. I think him adopting a son and everything. So I think that is important, and I think they can actually do it. It's just not the easiest thing to adapt, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if Matt Reeves ever goes down that road. Maybe not in the sequel, maybe the third part. It could be like that, how Dark Knight Rises, but a bit more in a different way, like a progressive, like something like a passing of the torch kind of a thing. We'll see.
Tanmay says, we'll fight sequence Robin Bale's Batman voice.
What?
I
didn't
don't
get that.
understand. I just said the same. I think he's talking about a scene, right? Where he says, we'll fight. And he says Robin's voice there or Batman's voice.
Who's saying we will fight? Which scene was it?
Batman says, right? We'll fight. Or I think someone else says. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why, but Tom Hardy's Bane feels more menacing than Heath Ledger's Joker. Let's talk about Bane from that.
Oh, dude. Bane's
Say like that.
dialogues. Bane's dialogues were the best, man. Like
I didn't
the
understand
way
a
he did
thing.
the way he did the modulation, right? There was this one scene where he quoted Ra's al Ghul, and he actually sounded like Liam Neeson. And I was like, did they actually get Liam Neeson to voice that small
Which
part for
line
him?
was it?
I had no idea it
It was
was
like
Tom Hardy until some
it was
years ago.
it was that scene right where he was beating him up, and he quoted the League of Shadows, what Ra's al Ghul said in the
Oh, I
sixth
think
movie.
that the theatrics, like
Yeah,
when he throws that things, right, and then it just like
yeah,
harmlessly just blows away, and then he says like theatric. He uses now I get it.
mm.
Theatrics like some weapons.
Theatricality.
Yeah, theatricality. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Theatricality in this. Oh, dude, Liam Neeson's lines were so good in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Like I really liked
Compassion is
he
not something
was
your enemies would
how
share.
physically he was menacing and he really broke the bat's back.
He
I
did.
think that.
So,
What about
that was the whole point of like Christopher Nolan wanted to bring a Batman like because Joker challenged him in his mind, so
yeah?
he didn't want to do something similar.
There's a quote like there's a meme about it, right? Like they show all three villains from all three movies, and they're like, I broke his mind, I broke his spirit, and then I broke his body, and then I broke his spirit, and then he's like, but he kept coming back. Like
Yeah.
each movie, they broke one aspect of Batman.
And the funny thing is, it just shows how good of a studio WB is. They actually wanted Riddler in the movie because they were like Dark Knight worked with Joker. So by that logic, Riddler will work. So they actually forced Nolan to add Riddler, but Nolan didn't like. He was like, no.
It's
So
Nolan.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's such a good
WB,
studio, but they had such good ideas. We
are
should
you
have
being
seen it coming.
sarcastic? Are you being
Of
sarcastic?
course.
That makes more sense.
Oh man, I think they'll do Batman's. Okay. Saganison, you have to be very careful what you type. So I'll give you one more chance if you want to delete anything.
Take a screenshot quickly. We'll blackmail it.
Like messing that. Okay, more threatening. Yeah, but what do you think about the Bale twist? Bane twist, sorry, not Bale twist.
Oh, Miranda, like Talia
Yeah.
al Ghul.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was like such a cool nod. Like, see, like that was a good nod. Like Talia al Ghul. Like, they didn't put it on the nose, but like saying like Robin, like they did with Robin.
I mean,
That was
they didn't like have any other option, right? Like it was not like Robin. Like I don't think Talia al Ghul has any name, right? Like
No,
yeah.
I'm talking about the twist. Like you
See,
feel
I
like
think it
oh
was a good twist.
Bane is the villain, but you find out oh shit, it was her all the way.
it was a good twist, but the fact that Catwoman just comes in the bike or whatever you call that bat pod
Oh
and
yeah.
just shoots off Bane was a little weird.
Yeah, Bane went from like being so menacing to
Yeah.
crying at the end. Like he had a tear and all, right?
No, but I think the twist was actually really well done. Like throughout the movie, especially when you rewatch the movie, you can pick on certain hints here and there. So
The reason I like the Dark Knight Rises because of those scenes like that. Like there's like those they have like such good like certain scenes only like are so dramatic. Like I go on YouTube and I just sit and watch those scenes only on repeat. Like the scene where the cops are chasing the bank robbers and the lights start going out.
yeah.
And
And then
he-
the cop is like, "Oh, you're in
in
for a show today,
tonight."
tonight." Yeah, that was so good.
Then there's the other scene where Bruce Wayne's trying to get out of the pit, and then it
Oh,
transitions,
so
and
good.
it transitions
good.
from Dwish to that soundtrack to the original Batman Begins
Oh,
soundtrack.
it's so good. It's
It's
so
really
good. That's so good.
And
I totally agree, man.
and then the scene where Jim Gordon lights the flare.
Oh yeah, even
Yeah,
it
that
makes
made,
like
impossible.
No, technically, I don't know how much sense that makes. Like, they are standing in the ice, they're
think
hoping they don't
And,
fall.
the
and
biggest-
Batman's already over there.
The biggest issue I had with this film was the logic. It's like really something like come on, how, why? Like there's so many loopholes in the narrative.
Yeah, like how he came back to Gotham so fast.
Yeah, like so many things. Like when did he come out of the pit? What did he do? Like
It was
there was
apparently
no one-
Jodhpur. They shot
yeah,
that in Jodhpur,
yeah,
right?
in Rajasthan.
So India to US, it's not very far. Probably Saturday.
Like how did he travel? It's like it should have taken him
I
months to
think,
reach back, right?
the
Army
point
couldn't
would,
enter it.
The main that is true. Even that doesn't say true. Some people try to explain it in a way that in Batman Begins, he was like an expert in traveling. He knew how to get his way around.
But it will
That's
take
kind of what they
time,
show.
right?
But people also say that even though he was bankrupt, you really think Bruce Wayne would not have any other resources in hand, like under
The
under
point that they don't have to show it they didn't show it, makes that they don't have any answer to that. They had to bring, oh, it's Batman.
These are the
Like,
theories swirling around.
The directors aren't as smart as Batman, so they can't show what Batman did.
Yeah. We can't. That's classic.
Like, the whole sonar thing in Dark Knight, right, makes so much sense thematically also,
Yeah.
as well as in the plot device. There also you could have said, oh, I found Joker, my satellites caught him. Like, it's like there, it's like every time, like they are unable to find Joker, and it's every time, you are in the technology, everything, they're trying everything but still not working out. So here is like, okay, let's just get these things, let it go.
I just turned it blue because it's Dark Knight. Black
Okay.
Knight white.
A lot of chats. You think darkness in your alley? You have merely adapted the dark. I was born in it. Moved it wide.
Bale,
I don't see the
that's so
light
good.
until I was a man, and by then it was only blinding.
Yeah,
Love the
yeah,
scene.
that's a really good quote.
I think if they do Batman death in the family, that could work because of the emotional weight. Yes. Again, see, that's what I'm saying. You can have both together. You kill Batman, then you have Robin. If Batman...
No. Death in the family, Robin dies, right?
Yeah, Robin dies in Death in the
No,
Family.
that's what I'm saying. That works because you have one of them.
But then for that, you need to have Robin first, right?
Yeah, but you'll kill him, right?
you need to establish Robin, right? And only then Death in the family works.
If Batgirl movie is a hit, then the Nightwing movie has a good chance to be made. No, I think opposite. If a Batgirl is hit, it'll be like everything. Nightwing will become Batgirl. Robin will become Batgirl. Batman will become Batgirl.
See, the reason Batgirl movie is coming out only, first of all, is why get woke.
No,
I
I
thought it was
don't.
because
See, Batgirl exists in the comics, right? I don't have an issue with
she is
that.
a pretty
but-
good character. She's actually a very interesting character, Batgirl. She
Yeah,
stands
but-
on.
My problem
Yeah,
is
but
that
see, they're-
first, at least give me a
bringing-
Batman movie in that universe.
That's the thing,
Then
right?
give
It's
me a
been so
Batgirl.
scattered. Like it's like the Spider-Man, the Tom Nolan's MCU Spider-Man. They're building towards Miles Morales, right? Like they're building they had Prowler show up in Homecoming, so they even reference that he has a nephew and stuff, and now they're
Yeah.
slowly building up to him, and hopefully I think in the next movie or maybe after that they'll be bringing in Miles Morales. So there's
It's
a
like
setup over
there. Making Agatha the Harkness before making Avengers.
That's true, yeah. Like it's
Makes no sense.
and they're bringing back Keaton, so I'm like, I don't really have any connection, like emotional connection. Like I think he did a great job.
Did you see
as
those pictures,
Batman.
set photos?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
It looked fine. It looked good, but see, that excitement we had when we were talking about Dark Knight trilogy, like Dark Knight, Batman Begins. I don't have that excitement towards.
You'll have the
Michael
excitement once the
Keaton.
Flash movie's out.
No, but still, I won't. Like we were talking about each scene, like one by one, reminiscing over. This is like
They're trying to
15-year-old
get
movie.
it. They're trying to get the older audience for that, I guess. Because like when Keaton's Batman movie came out, it was the first live-action Batman.
Yeah,
That wasn't a joke like Adam West. Like
True.
they made it a full phenomenon. Like the McDonald's was releasing boxes with the Batman logo on it.
Yeah.
Like it was like a full phenomenon. I watched a video on YouTube about it recently. Like
That
they-
actually
the publicity for that movie was so big.
that actually played a role in them changing the director in the third movie because they were like, kids are not appealing to this, so they
In
were
the
like,
third movie?
let's not go dark. Yeah, Batman Forever.
What?
The
Val
George
Kilmer.
Clooney.
That has Robin. That actually has Robin, like a live
Yeah.
action.
There's George Clooney one. So it's not connected,
Yeah.
right?
No. Val
Yeah.
Kilmer. It is connected. Same Alfred.
The George Clooney one is the Robin one, right? Batman
That's the
and Robin
fourth
is-
one. Third one is
Oh.
Batman Forever. Oh my
There's
god. am
only
I the
two
most
Michael
knowledgeable
Keaton
person here?
movies.
Two Michael Keaton
Yeah,
movies.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
After that, nothing exists. on it.
No. Two Michael Keaton movies. Okay. Then what happened was WB, same like what happened with Snyder, you can say. They were not appealing. They were like, parents started complaining that these movies are too dark. So they were like, okay, let's lighten up. And Tim Burton was like, I'm out of here. I can't do
Of
kid
course,
friendly light movies.
He made an
And
animated movie dark.
Yeah. So Michael Keaton was also there. If Tim Burton is not there, I'm also not here. So then they recasted Batman. They brought Val Kilmer in. Then they had Robin in. Batman Forever came. Then the fourth movie was Batman and Robin. That completely like tanked the whole image of Batman.
That movie was such a joke, man.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
they were
Was it
Bane-
with the credit card, bad credit
Yeah,
card and all?
that movie had
Yeah.
that movie had
So
Bane in
Batman Forever is still like it had a lot of studio interference, but it was still like mixed. like in terms of dark and this.
Ba-
Batman
Batman-
and Robin was completely like campy. Like
Batman Forever is the one with Mr. Freeze, right?
no, that's
Arnold?
Batman and Robin. Batman Forever had Riddler and
Two-Face.
Two-Face. That was
Yeah.
the movie. So then after that, for 9 years,
That was the one I watched. That was the one I watched. I watched that after Dark Knight. I watched that one after Dark Knight, and I'm like,
That's such-
how is Two-Face alive again? How is Two-Face alive?
the Two-Face is so campy. Like apparently Riddler and Two-Face, Jim Carrey played Riddler. They were like competing
Yeah.
over the campiness.
Okay,
with each
okay.
other.
Let's get back to track.
Insane.
Do you think they'll bring Superman in the universe? Matt Reeves already said no. He said just to make Batverse is enough for me. Then to
But
establish his own universe.
Wonders didn't give him the full check. That's why. Once the check reaches, he might.
I think he's a guy who will, Amrik Singh, Ben Affleck, Batman. Okay. What do you think should be the next film in the Batman sequels? My choice are Mr. Freeze and Court of Owls. Let's first
Mr.
watch this
Freeze-
one at least. We'll talk about this in the next stream. When we
Yeah,
talk
that's a
about
good
the
topic.
Batman.
But I like his pick of Mr. Freeze. Like he can actually be a very.
He said
grounded-
Mr. Freeze and the Court of Owls.
Court of Owls also, but I like Mr. Freeze storyline more. It's
Yeah.
actually much more emotional.
I feel it's too early for Court of Owls.
Like they had to establish the city.
Batman needs to be more experienced to face off against the
true.
Court of Owls.
If Dark Knight Rises had a better fight choreography, it would have been a better than no. I don't think that, at least for me, that was not the issue.
I mean, I don't still have much issues with Dark Knight Rises, but that fight between Batman and Bane was a bit slow, but the way how he broke his back was really cool. Like he just like lifted him. And
the dramatic scene where he was just holding the broken mask in his hand.
yeah, that was so good.
And then Catwoman was regretting what she did.
Yeah.
What about
Catwoman was
Catwoman?
a guy
Let's talk
I'm out
about
of here.
Catwoman.
Anne Hathaway, like
At least she was way
She was
better than the
perfect.
Catwoman movie we had.
You know, right? You know the story behind that, right? She thought she was auditioning for Harley Quinn.
Who?
that actually, I think I remember.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
Oh.
She thought she was auditioning for Harley Quinn.
Oh, she would have been a good.
She didn't know it
Harley
was for
Quinn.
Catwoman.
She's a fantastic actress.
But
I
dude,
think she can,
Margaret
like, pull
Robbie
off
just
those-
has. Like how Robert Downey
She-
Jr. took the Ant-Man character. Margaret Robbie has taken.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie got the accent correct for Harley Quinn. That was that's the best part.
Agree.
And I like how passionate she is about the character. That's so lovely to see.
Yeah. True.
She,
But I think Anne Hathaway did a fantastic job as
Yeah.
Catwoman. Like it's, I think it was not a very easy role to bring into the Christopher Nolan verse. Like it was not an easy character, but I think I like how she was like an
Oh,
anti-hero.
dude, the way she did the personality transition when Bruce
yeah.
Wayne caught her breaking into the safe.
Forget Bruce, but even when the police comes into the scene and she's like, same. That was so good.
Nona is a superstar now on Film Companion account. Now in some time he'll ditch Manoj. Not happening,
That's
man.
definitely going to happen. Man. Like,
Really?
He's already talked to me about it. He's like, I have other offers. Thinking of selling this channel.
Tanmay is like, take screenshot of Batgirl is going to be like cringe. I'm done with DCU now. Marvel is my best friend. Okay.
I'm not the whole Michael Keaton thing. It's still not sitting right with me. So I'm still very like.
Tanmay is like, they shot at Jaipur, but that doesn't mean he traveled from India to Gotham.
Hey, Jaipur, it's our canon. It's Jaipur. It's our canon. They never said right where it is, so we are just gonna assume it's Jaipur.
Why discussing about DCU? It hurts. DCU is dead. Bury it. My biggest problem with Keaton's Batman is that he is not Batman. He doesn't have a no kill rule. That's true. He has killed so many people in that movie.
Yeah, there's literally a scene where he puts the person down a manhole,
Yeah,
and he
and
just
he
throws a
beat-
bomb
yeah.
down, and he just walks away.
Like there's no
Yeah, but-
mention also of that. Like we don't know what happened.
Yeah, but those movies were only like that, right? Like
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
One and
that,
done.
right? That's why it doesn't make much sense why they're bringing that like back. Even though I really like Michael Keaton.
Anyways, Batman Forever War, Batman and Batman Returns Keaton. Batman and Robin was a Justice League of 90s. Justice League of 90s.
Kind of. Yeah.
Batman and Robin, Schumacher, by the way, it's also having alternate cut, lol, but I don't want it.
No, Batman Forever has an alternate cut, and there's been a petition to get that out because there was a lot of studio interference in that. So Joe Schumacher, I think, passed away. I think a few years back. So the fans are still. If you at some of his other films, like he also directed The Phone Booth and movies like that. It's actually much more like it's not that tone at all. It's a completely different tone. So he apparently had shot a lot of scenes which was more serious in tone. So many people want to see what he actually did. So I think
WB, I think, is done. They have done something.
No, I mean, this is not something that will even call like this is just an additional thing they can maybe release it in DVDs on HBO Max. It might actually do well if there's no much cost involved.
They already do. They're damaged. I don't think they want to damage themselves more.
Who's to blame? Like,
dude, Dark Knight Trilogy doesn't have good fight sequence. I think we talked about it. Do you think Christian Bale's Batman would have worked in the DCU instead of Ben Affleck? Nope.
Yes.
No, I don't believe
Why
in that.
wouldn't it?
I mean, I don't think.
Nah, I don't think that.
Ah.
He was too realistic, man, for this world.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like like how Arrow, like first season of Arrow, you're like it's so realistic. How will you have other people? Then Flash came in, but they kind of seamlessly did that. So some people say.
But
that,
Arrow
maybe
went
they
downhill
could have
after
done
that, when they introduced magic and all season 4. It was
yeah,
horrible.
but they went down that route.
Yeah.
But in season 1, no one even could think about like other stuff because it was actually very grounded. So
Very grounded.
do use the same logic, but I can't see it working. Like I can't imagine Superman like coming there in that world.
Okay, the Batman really should start a new DC connected universe, and Matt Reeves needs to realize that he has been waiting for a new connected universe. Nah, dude. They are done. Release
I
the
think we need to
Doom
watch
2
the
cut.
movie first to
Yeah.
assess if it has potential for that.
I don't want that, man. Release the Doom 2 cut. What is that now?
Doom 2 has what?
No way. That movie is perfect.
Doom 2 is much better than
Doom-
Doom 2 is much better than Doom 3.
Of
I don't
course,
care
no
what
doubt.
people say.
Doom 1 is
What
also
people
like
say.
really good. That movie.
Doom 1 was
when it
actually
came out,
good.
it was
People
like,
don't
oh
know.
my god, amazing. Nothing like this had ever existed.
Doom 3, the CGI was just weird, man.
They just went like, we have more money, so we'll just do anything,
That bike was just, what the hell?
It was
It was
mix
like
of
becoming a
Prestige
water boat.
and this, right?
Now you see me.
Now you see me.
Kind
Now you
and
see
now
me
you,
or no?
I wish I'm not now you see me, but I wish they had copied Now You See Me. It would actually at least been fun, like the whole tricks and everything. Because even that movie wasn't that good, but it was at least fun. But
Yeah.
this was like
Jim Lee or some person who understands and respects the characters need to take over cause. Nah,
just
not
one thing, just a sideline.
yeah.
Amar can actually tap dance in the start of Doom 3, right? Like that was the most intense tap dance. Like I've not seen someone like.
Amir
The start of the
Khan,
movie.
he did that. No, that was a different dance.
In Doom 3 starting, he was like he was like a child marching.
बंदे हैं हम उसके हम
Hey, oi. We're talking about Batman.
Okay,
That
okay.
actually has a connection. Nolan made Prestige, so then
Huh?
By the
it's
way,
like
Joe
unofficial
Manganiello
way.
changed his Twitter profile to Deathstroke.
I heard that.
Dude, I'm so sad about that project didn't happen. I was so
He would have
looking
made a
forward to
badass
that.
Deathstroke, man.
Like-
He's the new Gambit.
But Gambit, he didn't even get to be
Wasn't
in a
the
movie,
other
right?
guy from 22 Jump Street was Gambit?
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
Channing
Channing
Tatum.
That movie was supposed to come out in 2008
Channing
or 9.
Tatum.
Tatum.
And it's been like 15 years now. It's not out.
Yeah, but dude, the Jump Street movies are legendary, man.
I've seen both of them, but I've
But
forgotten.
actually, Channing Tatum has like gone into obscurity now. Like he
But
had
now
like
he's
that,
coming back. Now
he
he's
had that
made.
he had like that small cameo in Ryan Reynolds movie. What's the name of the movie? What's the name
Free
of
Guy.
the movie, man? Free Guy. Yeah, he had like a small.
Dude,
cameo there,
Adam
but,
Project
like,
looks amazing, so we should react to
Yeah.
the whole film.
It does.
We should plan that. But
Yeah,
anything else from Dark Knight Rises? I love that fact, the whole Jesus allegory with him. That he's, down, he has to come up. I think a lot of video essays on that. So in that respect, I think I like that film, and I love that
I'm a
scene where he
Christian,
breaks.
I never really for me that was like the last thing that
the ending was the best, dude. Like all of the scenes, like he left a message for each one of them. Like he repaired
Yeah.
the bat signal, and like Jim Gordon goes like.
But when did he fix the thing? All of this, like,
don't ask these questions. Alfred maybe went back and fixed it.
Nah, man, he's Batman, dude. He's Bruce Wayne. Listen. He just lifted off the old one and put a new one there.
at night 3 a.m. Alfred is like, fixing the new thing. And someone shows up and like
He called Urban Company. He's like, "Arey, 5th floor, go up. Arey, not there."
Tanmay is saying, "Good, don't worry, good news coming regarding Joe's Deathstroke." Because that thing never happened, you can still introduce Deathstroke in like even in this Batman movie.
The DCU technically still exists because
Yeah.
like they had Peacemaker, and then there are more Suicide Squad spin-offs, so Deathstroke might show up in one of them.
Man.
I feel so sad, like when I think about it.
Anyways, what about Dark Knight Rises? Anything else? The ending is of course superb.
The soundtrack. we
Overall,
talked
yeah,
about.
soundtrack is amazing. I think overall it just wraps the trilogy very well.
It's incredibly hard to make a sequel to a movie like Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard, like because we talked about how perfect Dark Knight is. So to actually make a follow-up, and to wrap that character up, like because Dark Knight was a perfect film, but I'm glad Dark Knight Rises is there because it gives a more happier conclusion to this character. And I
Yeah.
think his character deserved that. So I'm actually very grateful that Nolan came back and did the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. So last thoughts, last thing, thoughts about the like expectations on the Batman.
Look, I actually have no. I
Have you
don't
guys
know
read
what to
any
expect.
reviews or something like that? Just a brief.
Nothing. I just saw one in Twitter, someone saying that I want to watch it again, something like that. Like it was that good. And I saw one person putting it below the 3 Dark Knight Trilogy movies, but above all the other Batman movies. So I saw
All the
like,
other Batman movies are shit, man. Like, tell me one good Batman movie other than Dark Knight Trilogy.
Batman versus Superman. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That
And
I don't even
Batman.
count as a Batman
Yeah,
movie, man.
They have pivotal role in bringing the team together.
Uh,
Come
Batman
together.
You know, I love the
Right now.
I love the ideas of BVS, but it's not at all a great film.
It doesn't match up to the trilogy.
the execution of Batman versus Superman was bad. Like
You know,
they cut too much stuff.
it just destroys my brain. Just the coincidence. You know, like
Martha.
BVS and Civil War came in the same year. Both the
No, but
films
that's
are
not a-
literally point by point the same. Literally, there are so many
Yeah.
videos. I was recently watching a video. You know, and literally so many. Even the Tony Stark is fighting because of his mother, and he stops fighting because of the mother. You know, it's literally so much same, and the difference. You know, like it just blows
I've
my
always
mind.
said this, and I know not many people agree with this, but that's the one assessment I make. That I think Civil War Zemo, like even though he didn't have many scenes, he worked really well as a glue of that film to bring that whole story together.
Because
And
he
actually
had
an arc.
personal stakes, right?
Yeah, and he had an arc.
Yeah.
And they actually utilized Black Panther in a very cool way of actually ending his arc showing in that movie. But I think Lex Luthor just didn't have that same glue.
Yeah.
And
He
he
was
really
not needed.
required that to bring
Yeah,
the
like,
whole film together.
They didn't give his character any background. Like
That's
like
for me,
how did he
that's
figure
the-
out Bruce Wayne was Batman?
For me, that is where like one film
It's
succeeds and
actually
the other one
WB.
struggles.
Zack Snyder wanted to make
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
of Steel 2. They said no.
Yeah,
You want
yeah.
Justice
They
League.
were like
Build up to that. So that then he came up with the idea of Batman is Superman.
Batman facing
You know?
Superman. Let's not get into it because we'll stay here all night. Like
Yeah.
I think there's times where Nona and me we watched some other show, then we were like, okay, done, and video done. Then we started discussing
Like
something.
after like it's been 12, it's
randomly.
like 12 and we are still like for an hour now
Still
talking about
debating, talking. Like, I'm like, no, I disagree. That was good. This was not good. And he's like, no, that was good.
Okay. Tanmay says, listen, many people will become Batman and go, but the main thing is that he's vengeance, he's night, he's Batman. Okay.
You should say it in the voice, like he is vengeance, he is the night, he is Batman.
Batman is Superman Ultimate Edition. This debate I'll never understand, dude. Ultimate Edition, okay, it has some more scenes of Superman, but
No,
that doesn't make the film better.
No, I agree. Ultimate Edition is a much better movie than the
If they
theatrical,
wa-
but it still has a few.
If they wanted to do Batman versus Superman, no, Batman needed an origin movie before. Cause like Batman had no context. He was
Honestly,
just there.
Honestly, I feel like it was okay to introduce Batman like this.
Same. Yeah,
I think the way they
I-
introduce it's like makes sense. You know, you have already seen Batman so many times, you understand what the character
all of that
is.
actually makes sense.
The
and
thing
actually
is, just remove Doomsday and remove Justice League and remove this guy.
And don't call it Batman versus Superman. Like, because it's actually like because even Zack Snyder didn't want to call it that. The marketing people wanted to call it that. So twisted. Like a filmmaker doesn't even get to pick his own title, man. Like what? What
Okay,
is
I've
this
seen
studio? Like,
a bad review that said it was a dark and Batman didn't smile. Seriously, man, why are you reviewing the movie? Yeah, so many. They're making memes also. Like the negative reviews are like, why there's no one smiling? It's so dark. Oh my god, we are already living in a dark world. Like what nonsense.
that's okay. I think Joss Whedon will come and reshoot it and fix it. It's all good.
By the way, no one even talk about Civil War. BVS still in the trend. I'll age like old wine.
It's not worth even revisiting. It's just
Honestly, dude, Civil War is one of my favorite all-time comic book movie. Like it just perfected so many levels. Of course, Endgame, Infinity War are bigger films, but I feel Civil War is like
introduced Spider-Man. Man.
it's not about that. Just remove
Nothing
Spider-Man.
else.
I don't even
Like,
care.
Hey,
I don't care. Remove Spider-Man for that movie. That movie is still so fantastic. Of course, Dark Knight is somewhere else altogether.
I mean, I don't share the same sentiment. Like I actually like Infinity War Endgame much more, but
No,
I can
but-
understand what you're trying to say.
I
For
think
me,
Civil War
the
just
part where
blew me away.
for me, my favorite moment in the entire MCU is when Spider-Man enters the scene. Like, he's like, oh, Ruth.
Hello. I don't even know what he says. I've seen a Hindi one. He's like, Makdi aaja.
Actually, more than the Spider-Man entrance scene, I like the scene before where Tony Stark comes to his house, and Spider-Man says something that when you can do what I can do, and when other people get hurt, I thought that was like said really well, like that dialogue.
That
For
scene
me,
was really
that
cool,
was much more impactful than his actual entrance.
Dude, I still remember in the theater, Queens. Everyone shouted.
Yeah,
I have no idea why
everyone,
everyone shouting.
same,
Actually, I have no idea
same.
why. And then like you see the guy and like, oh, is this Spider-Man? Oh, shit. Oh
Dude.
man.
Dude, what a discovery Tom Holland has been, man. Like just imagine like 2016, like 6 years back, he was like he was someone, but he was not that known. Now he's like everywhere, like 6 years. Changed
All
so
right.
much.
I think that's it. Let's end the stream tomorrow.
We ended on
Batman.
Tom Holland.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson's Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman, and hopefully, I'll be going with open mind. Actually, the question was expectation for the Batman.
I mean, see, as I said, like I only watched the first teaser and first trailer. That's it. I've not watched anything else. The first trailer had me hooked. I was excited. I think we're going to get a very Gotham-esque adventure. It's going to be more of a detective drama. You're going to have Riddler being this.
It's
They
it's almost
should do it like
170,
Sherlock
172 minutes long, which is around 2 hours 49 minutes.
Still not as long as Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I saw that in one go. So.
No, I didn't saw that one go. Man, we should have reacted. We had the channel. We should have reacted to each part. That would be amazing.
Dude, I would have flipped my mind at the Flash scene, man. I was literally screaming alone.
My favorite scene was the Joker scene where like Batman's working with Joker and like they are talking.
Yeah.
Like, he finally got dialogue in the movie.
Okay. Anyways, Batman. Looking, I'm going with empty mind. I just want to enjoy it. It's long movie, so I may have to get popcorn.
I know
don't
it's
know.
going to be good.
Yeah.
How good though? That's the question.
Yeah. I just want a good film. I don't have any
Yeah.
expectations from Batman has to do this, Batman has to do that.
I'm never going to compare it with the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
For me,
of
that's
course,
like
of
sacred.
course.
That's like in a different level.
That's
Like,
why we did the
It doesn't
stream.
even. Yeah, like for me, it doesn't matter. Any movie can come out. Like people say Endgame, Infinity War. I'm like, no. For me, this is like holy sacred 3 films. But I'm pretty sure this one is going to be good.
Yeah.
So guys, I think that's it from us. Thank you for watching. Again, if you enjoyed, do like, subscribe, and Sunday we are doing the stream on the Batman. So if you have watched it, do join us for that. Spoiler.
Also, check out my video on 5
Yeah.
animated movies that you can
Do
watch
check it
before
out.
the
If you're
Batman.
watching it late, you can catch on it. You need to watch it before the Batman. All right. So guys, that's it. Thank
It's
you.
not necessary,
and
but
see ya. Keep geeking out. Oh man, that was long.